Again, next Saturday, January 20th, 9 p.m., Paramount, and it's live and free. And that's it, Danny.
All right, thanks, Scott. Operator, if you want to go to our first question.
Our first question comes from the line of Gareth A. Davies with Daily Telegraph.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Do we have Rampage on the call?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, big man. How are you? Rampage, we saw in the last couple of days in some of the viral videos that the organization, Bellator, the organization, we're putting out, that you're prepared to pay Chael Sonnen $10,000 for each takedown he gets, and he's looking to get 9 on you, so he's going to take you the distance, put you down 9 times, pick up a clean 90K, thinks he's going to win. How many times are you going to take him down to get your 10K?
That wasn't part of the deal for me to take him down to get my 10K, and Chael was supposed to come back with something to sweeten the bet, so I can benefit from it. But he said he had to check with his wife.
Thank you, Rampage. Really looking forward to it. And for you, Chael, are you there?
I'm here. Where else would I possibly be? I'm here, buddy. You got a question for me?
I do, and the question is this. He's going to pay you 10K every time you take him to the ground. What are you going to pay him?
Yeah, people think that's a joke, man. I didn't know how to take it either. Rampage is a man of honor. We shook. I think we've got a bet here. So, I told him I can't pay him anything. He said I want $500 for every jab that I land. I said, Rampage, I'm married. I'm a married man. I can't go around making $500 bets. I used to rule the roost, Gareth. I used to be, anything I wanted to do. I could wake up in Germany tomorrow. Nobody could tell me. Now, I can't make a bet. I got to go get clearance. But I'll tell you, I do agree with Rampage. I got to take him down. He's got to stand up. I got one way to win. It was just to be on top of him and annoy him for 15 minutes. He got one way to win, which is put me to sleep. I've taken a lot of people down. He's put a lot of people to sleep. I mean, this one isn't rocket science.
You're pledging then that you're going to pay him $500 every time he lands a jab on you, yeah?
No, just the opposite. As a man of honor, I'm telling you, I am not involved with that. I am not part of that. Chael P is purely here to collect.
Our next question comes from the line of Steve Juan with MMA Mania.
My next question is for Chael, and I want to know, Mr. Sonnen, what is your ideal weight to be as explosive and dynamic as you were in the fight with Wanderlei Silva going into this heavyweight Grand Prix?
I'd like to be 214. I was 221 this morning. I was 224 a week ago, so I'm headed in the right direction. But I have a goal of getting to 214. It's always been tough. I've never had to lose weight at any point in my life. I've never tried to diet for weight loss, aside from having to make a weight contractually. So that was always the forced discipline that I had in place, and I don't have that this time. So it's taking like an extra element. Which I have found some struggles with. It's very hard when you're hungry and laying in bed at night to not eat something when you can. But to answer your question, 214.
All right. Same question for Rampage. Mr. Jackson, what do you want to weigh going into this fight with Chael?
I want to weigh 210, but that's not going to happen.
Our next question comes from the line of Jay Anderson with Cageside Press.
Operator, and first for Chael, you fought at middleweight, you fought at light heavyweight, but obviously you're going to be giving up a lot of weight in this. If all goes well, you'd be fighting next year, you'd be 41. Is there any concern that this could be fairly taxing on your body, giving up that much weight?
I haven't thought about it being taxing, but it is a first for me. I mean, it creates a little bit of anxiety, like I said, lay in bed at night and try to work this match through. I've got some teammates that I go with that are, as big as Rampage or bigger, and a lot of my techniques just don't work. I'll do everything perfect and hit those guys, and boom, I just get stopped because of the size. So, it's a first for me. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the unknown in the process. I got into grappling lately, and the only reason I went into grappling is just I'd never done it before, and there was some apprehensiveness, and maybe you'd even call it fear, and that's just kind of what I enjoyed about the process. So Yeah, I don't totally know what to make about it, and you know, I have had a hard time in practice with some of the stuff I've done, and fortunately had those bodies to go, okay, we might have to go to a plan B or a plan C here. So I don't fully know what to make about it. You know, Edgar had just asked Rampage if this was fight, you know, had any animosity. And I want to just add to that because yeah, it doesn't. And one thing we found in fighting is we kind of need a little animosity. I've never called somebody out unless I really wanted to fight them and just had a way. But this is different. It's a tournament. I just did an interview this morning. Somebody asked me, hey, if you beat Rampage, you're going to call out Fedor. But it doesn't work that way. We're in a tournament. This is the way the Olympics does it. This is the way the NFL does it. This is the way the NCAA does it. So it's not about drama and having bad blood, man. It's a straight line bracket, like every mainstream sport out there. It's really rare. You know, Coker got put in a tough spot where he leaked that, hey, pretty soon I'm going to crown a heavyweight champion. Everybody starts calling him and saying, well, I want to be in that fight, making all their arguments by way that, you know, I'm 5-0 and I beat this guy and that guy. And finally he just throws his hands up and goes, okay, you 8 guys keep blowing me up. How about I throw you all in a tournament, and whoever's left standing, I'll put the belt around. And we all stand back and go, yeah, that's fair.
Just a follow-up question to that. You know, we saw in another promotion GSP come back and then, you know, kind of walk away from the belt. If you win this heavyweight title at 41, is that a case where you do want to stick around and defend it for a while, or would you consider kind of going off into the sunset on top?
Well, I get split a little bit on that. I definitely would not go anywhere else or use that as a negotiation tool. I want to make that really clear. I'm completely loyal to Bellator and would not even consider anything else. But I really believe, and I'm a traditionalist. I'm a fan first. I really believe that you've got to defend it. I mean, I don't feel anybody should go out on top. And some guys do. George St. Pierre is one of them, but he gave them every chance in the world to beat him. He gave guys rematches, and some guys got 3 matches. He changed weight. He did everything he could do to get beat and pass that torch. He was just that damn good. And aside from him and Lennox Lewis, I can't think of anyone that goes out on top. We all our careers in the same, face down and embarrassed. And I think that I'm going to follow suit on that. I mean, that's what will be up. I don't want to leave anything on the table. If I got one more match or one more walk or one more experience, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm going to take it.
Our last question comes from the line of Oscar Willis with the Mac Life.
Hi guys, this is a question for Chael. During the lead up to this fight, you described a altercation with yourself and Rampage in Arizona that had to be separated by Michael Bisping. I was wondering if you could just expand on that. What exactly was it about, and how did it come that Bisping was the one to separate you both?
Yeah, I mean, it's just heat that goes back a long time, and I really can't remember. I've got such a short-term memory, and the last time I was with Rampage, which was 2 weeks ago, he was such a gentleman. It was like, oh my God, do we have to start this over? It's like a guy I had never met before. Started many years ago. You know, Dana White got involved. He tried to make the fight. He offered us coaching spots on The Ultimate Fighter and was going to build this thing, and it just never came around. I was going to move into the weight class. I was a middleweight at the time, and I can't remember all the history. I ended up somewhere in Chicago, and I got into it with some guy, and we were just visiting socially, and it escalated. Well, that dude turned out to be Rampage's brother, so it gets back to Rampage. I mean, just everything that could go wrong between us went wrong between us, and we ended up in a hotel lobby. I was getting ready to take on Bisping in a grappling match. Rampage was going to commentate it, and I mean, things just escalated. I don't even know why they put us at the same hotel, and ultimately Bisping had to get in and break the whole thing up. So I never thought our paths were going to cross. Rampage was going in one direction. He was in San Jose. I was with the guys in Vegas, or maybe I was even sitting in the principal's office at the time. And things just finally came around. I mean, I'm jumping around on the story, but I've got you 90% there.
Okay. And so obviously the pair of you have been fairly amicable in the lead up to this. So how do those bad feelings subside? Is it just a case of time expiring and you slowly get over it, or was there a reason that you guys sort of made things up?
Yeah, I have no idea, man. I got out to LA about 10 or 12 days ago, and Rampage was just such a nice guy. I mean, I don't know, I don't know what to say. There was really, I don't like to manufacture. I get said to be, Chael will talk some trash or something, but I've never seen myself that way. I'm a truth talker. If I don't see it, I won't say it. I won't make something up to sell a fight or anything else. And I mean, it's just the reality. And fortunately, we're in a bracketed format where animosity's got nothing to do with it. Your skills have everything to do with it. Somebody's going to advance, and they're going to go against the next guy who had skills and could advance. So, I mean, I'll leave it where it lies, but that was my experience. He might have a different one to share.
Fair enough. And speaking of this being a bracketed tournament, you're well known for planning things ahead of time, sort of knowing who your next opponent is after this one. Do you see a pathway through this tournament to victory? Do you sort of look at, say, like, well, if Bader loses to Mo, I have a better shot, or vice versa? Do you see a pathway to victory, or are you just taking this one step at a time?
No, I play the bracket through 10 times a day, every single day. You know, what could possibly happen? And I do it a lot to take my focus off Rampage. I don't like to focus on one guy. I like to be distracted. I like to have something else to look forward to. So looking past Rampage is a risky game. I mean, that's a former world champion right there. But, yeah, I do. You know, I'm real interested in the Mir match, Mir and Fedor. I can see that going both ways. I'm not one of the guys that's writing Fedor off yet. I think there's been some real circumstance as to some of his last matches. I mean, come on, him and Mitrione knock each other down at the exact same time. It was just a really weird circumstance. So, you know, I'm not on board with that. I don't want to fight Mo because, you know, we go back to college days, and I just would rather not fight him. And so, you know, could he get eliminated? Maybe, but he does his best work against those bigger guys, those guys that have a little harder time getting out of the way, and he steps in big and powerful and fast and puts them down. So I think he's a likely guy to advance. I think Mitrione's the real number one contender. If Coker wasn't doing the tournament, he was just doing a one-off like is tradition in this sport, I think that Mitrione would be 50% of that, and we'd have to find someone to fight him. That's my opinion. He's also the Vegas favorite, so I think Rampage and I got very lucky only in one regard, which is we're first. And in these tournaments, you know, another reporter brought it up at the beginning of this press conference, but it is about who can hold up. You know, there's a reason they have to have alternates. I know Rampage will walk out there no matter how he feels. I promise you I will walk out there no matter how I feel. But I don't know that I can say that about the other six guys. Some of them even have a history of pulling out of fights for not feeling great. So you got to have these alternates, and we did get lucky. We're up first. That means we have, if nothing else, we have the most time to recover.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a great way to end it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Oscar. And I want to just take this time to thank all the media. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your call. Just thank you to the fighters and the media for attending this call. And we'll talk to you soon. See you next Saturday at the Forum, live on the Paramount Network and free. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
That concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect your line.
Thank you.